Hey folks, welcome back. Another Opponent Master video and another, I guess, end of the month-ish. I mean, it's not like really end of the month. It's like November 21st, but like there's no like new units really coming out. We got all the units and, you know, got a chance to try them out, see how they are, and it's probably, you know, it's time we sort of look back on these units and see where they're all at, right? So we're gonna start with damage dealers this time. I rarely ever start with damage dealers. Not that it really matters. It's just, I'm just too lazy. Like, bro, there's so many damage dealers in this game in comparison to the other two, so I usually don't do the other two first and then just lay the, you know, damage dealers for later. I'm very, very good at procrastinating, so there's that. So anyways, in terms of these units, right, obviously very, very subjective tier list. You could, you know, say whatever you want. Yeah, personally, right, you could think Sylveon's the best unit in the game. I can't stop you from doing that, although I would heavily disagree with that. I don't think she's good at all. But that aside, let's get into this, I guess. So as usual, shout out to Runner for helping out on the tier list. Hopefully this is going to drastically change soon with you know, the increased difficulty, or I guess, well, not increased difficulty, but the increased points in master mode, and then the new harder, you know, content that's coming out next year. So hopefully this shakes up a bit soon, because honestly it's been like, it hasn't been very much different for like the past like year or so. So anyways, especially for supports, like not even that much so for damage dealers, because I mean damage dealers pretty much, you know, if you're a good damage dealer, you're probably going to be a good damage dealer. You know, the content doesn't affect that much. It's more so, I guess, the supports, right? But anyways, regardless, let's get into this then. So as usual, let's just give you know, let's just throw in one for each tier to start. Let's throw one in the bottom first. Norman, terrible. Takes himself out very, very fast. Not good, no grid, right? Chantal, decent, no grid, sadly. All right, what else? That is not that is not the tiers. I didn't move the pool down enough. That's not. I was like, what? Chantal's not decent. All right, no, there we go. Better. Norman, bruh, terrible, and Chantal's kind of as well. So moving on to the falls off a bit category, we could throw in where's everyone's favorite meme unit? Naderino. There's Naderino. Nothing is very good for him other than he doesn't, you know, spend too many gauges to attack, so you could use him secondary damage dealer, but his damage is still really bad as secondary damage dealer. Moving on to, I guess, a decent tier. Alright, we could see a bit of hope here. Jiggly Lyra, really slow. Damage is not the best, but when paired with Serena, it's a pretty, you know, it's a decent combo, right? Moving on to, still good, I guess. We could throw in something like a Houndoom. Very high damage cap, however, setup, very needy over there. And then the worst part is you have to sync with Houndoom to use Houndoom's you know, kit, right? If you don't sync with Houndoom, you don't get Dark Pulse, you don't do damage, basically. Moving up into the good category, let's see, we could throw in something like Solgaleo is okay, right? Defensively pretty nice. Not that that's like a huge deal for damage dealers, but Focus Blast Solgaleo is still really nice, right? Sinister Strike Solgaleo not that great, but it's still an option, right? Still an option. At least it gives you two options, right? One better than the other, but regardless. All right, moving into the great territory, we could throw in something like, where is... there's Hilda. This Hilda, right? Pretty good sync nuke, being fire type always helps, right? The recall isn't that bad for the most part. And moving into fantastic territory, we could go with Hala. How about Hala, right? Hala is incredibly slow, but DPS really good. Sync nuke really good as well, right? Just very slow. Unreal how slow this guy is. Moving on to close to top territory, we could put in something like, where's Alder, right? Really, you know, self-sufficient. Damage cap isn't the highest, but still pretty good, right? Being a hyper beam unit and all. Moving on to something in top tier, maybe blue, right? Blue again. You do have the hyper beam thing going with him. You can also buff your team's crit, but of all the team comps he's in, he doesn't, like, the crit buff doesn't really help your team that much, right? If you're, whether you're running him with Emmett or just in a sand team with Ingo in general, you don't really, you know, doesn't help out that much, but still an option, right? Still an option. But yeah, pretty good damage dealer. And obviously at the very, very top, you got your Groudon Kyogres, right? Groudon Kyogres, Hoopa, etc. Like, these are just straight up broken units. They're, you know, they're incredible. What can you do, right? Doing millions of damage per turn, right? Doing millions of damage per turn. Groudon Kyogre still giving you weather, all that stuff. Groudon also giving you debuffs, right? On your team, and then Hoopa giving you sync move countdown is insane. These units, right? These units are just like another level, like incredibly, you know, powerful. These are, by the way, if you guys are wondering, they're not ordered from left to right. They're not ordered within their tiers at all. Just randomly put anywhere, right? Okay, let's fill out some of the bottom, I guess. Starting off, this guy's like Norman but rock type. This is not good, needs a grid. Gang, right? I don't even know if a grid saves that thing, honestly. Not good, needs a grid. Not good, needs a grid. What else? Decent needs a grid. Terrible needs a grid. Terrible needs a grid. Terrible needs a grid. Decent needs a grid, I guess. Decent needs a grid. Terrible needs a grid. Yeah, this is just the, we need a grid gang, right? Terrible needs a grid as well. Terrible needs a grid. Like stuff like this, even if they do get a grid, it's probably not going to be salvageable in terms of DPS. Most likely they're just going to turn into like some like weird sync nukers or whatever, right? If they ever do get one. So anyways, what else? Did I miss out on anyone? Oh, Decent needs a grid pretty fast, which is nice. For one at least. Alright, let's see what else we got. Oh, these two. Decent, slow, needs a grid. Is Jesse here? Jesse, yeah, Decent needs a grid. Alright, moving on into the falls off category. The you fell off category. Guzma is basically Nate, but like slightly better, right? They're basically the same thing. Ours is not that good. Damage is not there. Claire actually has good damage. The setup's just really bad, right? His sync nuke's pretty powerful, but the discharge DPS is just horrid. He's fire type. Moving on up here, Fantina is decent, especially with you know, Anniversary Lily now with the ghost gear, all that stuff. Yeah, actually not the worst. Let's see what else. Price, where's Price? Price can do some stuff. You can run it with Kiram. Pretty slow team though, but you can do it if you want. Karina does damage. Can't really take a hit, unfortunately. Chris is Canuck. Mega Kick is not bad, honestly. There really isn't like too many issues with Chris. She's just like very average, right? And no one cares because there's just better, you know, water types. But again, we're not ranking it, you know, in terms of, oh, there's a billion stronger water types. That's why we're gonna move Chris like all the way down. No, we're still gonna objectively, you know, well, as much as we can, look at the unit, say, oh, it still puts up, you know, respectable numbers. So again, does get carried by it's water type, but still gives you good numbers. What can you do, right? Or at least average numbers. I wouldn't say that good. Anything else? Maybe Morty has this sync nuke. Absolutely horrid DPS. Moving on to the still good category, Berg is really nice, right? Decently fast as well, right? Use some solid bug buzzes, you know, especially if you run it in Sun, right? There's a lot of great Sun options right now as well, so that's good. Sling gives you 2 different forms of damage, both not very great, but she is decently good for your team's gauges at least. So you could at least run her as a secondary damage healer. What else? Gliding can turn into any type. None of them hits super hard, but there are a few that are a bit better than others, like Psychic Gladian, or Electric Gladian, Water Gladian, Fire Gladian, just because terrains and weather are OP in this game. What else? Where's Barry? DPS not very good. Very powerful sync nuke. Also not very easy to set up sync nuke, but powerful nonetheless. So, you know, there's always that going for it, right? Luzamine, very fast. Does not hit very hard, unfortunately. Defense is also not very good, but very fast. So there's that, at least. Moving on, let's see, in the good tier, we could have the other Houndoom. This one's better than the other one, even though this one does more damage. This one, you don't have to sync with it, and it's very easy to set up and slot into teams in comparison to this, right? They're really, like, opposite units, honestly, in terms of, you know, how they operate and all. We could put Blue in there as well. Blue has the same issue with, Karen, except he's just overall, you know, stat-wise a bit better. Right? I wouldn't say a bit better, a lot better. So yeah, there's that, I guess, for Blue. Although Karen does, I guess, self-set up a bit better. Now the more I think about it, I don't think Blue's that much better than Karen. He has an EX, that sucks. Really bad. Yeah, pretty much. Alistair's okay, right? Gives you 2 different types of coverage, both of them not very good. You could use the max moves. Max moves do do decent amounts of damage. Decent amounts of damage there, right? And moving on, we got the Cynthia's. This one's slow, and the other one's like fast, but both of them, again, damage not incredibly good. Both need really awkward teams. Well, not so much for her, since, like, you know, Ingo's a thing now, but the team's not very her overall damage is really poor, being AoE units, right? What else? Let's see, I guess Mallow, again, not that great of a setup, but very powerful sync nuke and decently powerful power up as well. So there's that. Oh, I forgot about Caitlyn. Caitlyn is also in the still good category, right? Again, you know, gets a bit carried by the fact that she's psychic type, and psychic teams are you know, a bit busted. But yeah, she's okay damage wise, but nothing crazy. Definitely nothing crazy. Moving on, Ethan. Like, these 3 are basically the same. It's Dragon Ethan, Ground Ethan, Fire Ethan, right? Again, also gets carried by Sun, unfortunately, or fortunately for Ethan, depending on how you look at it, right? Anything else? Am I missing anyone? Let's see. Are we good here? I think we're good here. All right, moving on. Sharpedo could be in here, right? Sharpedo with you know, the very good speed, obviously, being water type. You have defense downs as well that you get, you know, pretty good DPS overall. Really not many issues with this unit. Really just solid damage dealer, right? Incredibly solid damage dealer. Xenia, very powerful, especially if you run her with the Hoenn legendaries. Very good, obviously. And let's see what else. Zubstrika, the recoil kind of sucks, but outside of that, very fast. Sync nuke's pretty powerful as well, right? So there's that. Olivia, very powerful striker sync nuke. Very mediocre otherwise DPS, right? What else? Where's Zacian? Oh, Zacian, pretty fast. Damage doesn't get good until the opponent sinks, so that kind of sucks. But if they do sink, it is good, right? It is good. So there's that at least. Let's see what else. Dragonite just needs like, give it a special buffing support, crit buffing support, and it's good to go. It is pretty gauge heavy, unfortunately, but outside of that, very, very solid damage dealer, right? Just, you don't need anything fancy, right? Just buff his special attack, buff his crit, give your team some speed, most likely as well, right? And then you're off blasting, 700k, whatever, 800k hyper beams. Maybe not that high, but still, right? Okay, let's see. What else? We'll leave the new units for later, right? We'll talk about those last, but all right, next we got stuff like Annie Steven, really powerful, right? Overall as units, it gives all those stat buffs that you get from stuff like Dragon Ascent. Draco Meteor gives you another, coverage as well, right? And yeah, good forms gives solid buffs. The Mega's terrible, don't sync with him, but otherwise very, very good. What else? Gloria, another one of those, in my opinion, really underrated units that gets outshined because of the other water types. But if you just look at Gloria by herself, her damage is still very, very good, being very fast as well. So it's nothing to scoff at, honestly. Gyarados is pretty powerful, right? Especially if you run Gyarados with Kyogre. The gauge is very suspect there, so your support needs to be really powerful, like a Sabrina or something, to maintain it. But otherwise, decent in that, well, not just decent, very good in that situation, right? Mightyena, really good for gauges, all that stuff. The slight, also the defense debuffs are nice. The downside, if you're using Crunch over Double Edge for some reason, and decent sync nuke. Downside being your overall DPS is not super high, and Double Edge again, just a bit risky, right? Don't have the best recoil removal, unfortunately, or reduction at least. What else? Wally, Focus Blast, incredibly strong, right? Pretty straightforward. Over there. And what else? Brendan gives you solid Leaf Storm, solid Sync Nukes. Reminds me a bit of B as well, right? These two. Very, again, solid DPS, solid Syncs, right? Moving on to close top category, we could have something like Syncs with Leon, right? The max move is pretty good. The damage, again, doesn't get crazy until the opponent sinks, which is, a bit of a, L for these Galarian legendaries, right? Same with Zacian. Zamazenta too, but I mean, Zamazenta generally not using it for damage deal, although you can, but, a lot of times not. But yeah, once the opponent does sink, really good damage, right? So that's nice. Debuffs are every other turn. If you get a chance to debuff the opponent's defense, is always good sight to see, right? Nessa, her kit is actually, you could actually get her max sync relatively easily now that Diantha's in the game, so that's really nice, right? To see. What else? Annie Lily, I guess? Pretty straightforward. Nothing really to talk about. Really straightforward unit. Press one, move, max out your stats, start blasting with a Moongeist Beam. And then every other turn, well, not exactly every other turn, but, chances, right, for a super effective up, which is really good. So she's fantastic against units that she's super effective against. Still okay against units that she's not super effective against, but not nearly as good, right? All right, let's see what else. This guy, N, right, with Zekrom, a bit slow and does have the Volkner limitation, but outside of that, good damage. Really, really good damage. Let's see. Raihan, really, really good with Sandstorm Gang and all that. So that's really, really nice. Oh, one I forgot to mention, Diantha down here. Pretty powerful with the Moonblast. A bit gauge heavy of a unit, unfortunately. But outside of that, also the setup is slightly awkward, which is why a lot of times you might just like give up, you know, her multipliers and just run her like raw, right? But yeah, other than that, you know, pretty good, right? Can't really say, yeah, too much negatives about that. Moving on, Emmett's pretty powerful, right? Passive for the attack buffs is incredibly powerful of a passive. Leon's still very, very good, right? Doesn't mean that, oh, hey, you know, another fire type unit's also very, very powerful. That means we're gonna move Leon down. No, right? Leon's still incredibly good. One of the highest, you know, damage dealing units in the game, right? Speaking of other really, really good fire type, you know, damaging units, the other Charizard, also very, very powerful, right? Palkia, still incredible, right? For a free unit. To, you know, one of the best damages in the game with the Hydro Pump, right? Incredible stuff. Speaking of incredible free units, Mewtwo here as well, right? Great Sync Nuke, Psychic damage is very, very good, obviously with Bianca, right? Marnie's still really, really powerful. 2-gauge move, does like more than like a lot of 4-gauge moves in this game, right? Which is crazy. And then the new ones. All right, starting with the strongest. Easily Diantha, right? Diantha easily could be in top tier. Not only can she output very, very good damage with Secret Sword, she also debuffs the opponents every single time she touches them, right? Defense, and it's defense debuffs, not, you know, speed. Well, she also does debuff speed, but like not you know, useless stuff like evasion. Okay, evasion is not completely useless, but like, you know, it's not like she's debuffing evasion or attack or special attack. She's straight up debuffing both defenses on top of speed, which is again not extremely useful, but debuff on defense is very, very, very powerful. Especially considering she's pretty good for your team's gauges too, as she constantly buffs her speed, constantly buffs her defenses, as well as you debuff the opponent's defenses. She buffs her own, and yeah, she's really incredible. Her buffs are pretty good as well. Overall, pretty powerful Sync Nuke on top of really good DPS, right? She's you run her as a tank in like a triple striker comp, like she's incredible, right? Moving on, Kuzma, not as incredible, but still pretty good, right? Still pretty good. He's just a bit risky, right? I mean, that's the name of his game, right? You, it's a hit or miss, right? Sometimes you want to hit, sometimes you want to miss. It just comes down to, can you hit when you want to hit, and can you miss when you want to miss? And hopefully that does work out in your favor again. A bit RNG constrained. Also, Gauge is not that good, honestly. So there's that. But someone who does have good gauges is Hildarino, right? Good gauges, good gauges, especially after you sync. Maybe not so much before you sync, but after you sync, really good gauges. Cuts down your Stone Edge to a 2-gauge move, right? Diamond Storm to a 3-gauge move. Obviously, biggest weakness is still your Diamond Storm. Your main damaging move is an AoE move. But again, that's where you have the option of having Stone Edge, right? You have that, you know, Stone Edge still a pretty powerful option, obviously. Diamond Storm overall damage. I mean, AoE moves generally have better overall damage, but the point is, it gets cut when you're hitting, you know, a single, trying to take out a specific target. But then again, you do have Stone Edge to help you take out specific targets, right? In Hilda. So, anyways, yeah, that's for this one, I guess. I hope you all enjoyed. When guys, think in the comments down below, like this video, for channel for some more of them as content. Again, this is just for fun, right? Most of these are good units. Like, I'd say, like, you could call like anything like above like decent, you know, good units, right? Maybe even some of these, but like, just use whatever you want, honestly. Right, like, I mean, I've been Massmos with like Sylveon, Avalog, Tyranitar, like these, you know, whatever, right? So yeah, have fun, folks. Hopefully the shake up with the difficulty could move some parts around a bit. That would be nice, right? But again, might be a bit hard to move around damage because, you know, the numbers are there, right? The numbers are there, so we'll see. Anyways, have fun, folks. Check out the Brilliant Diamond gameplay. So I'm having a lot of fun with that game, right? And I'll have the other two lists up sometime. I don't know. I'm incredibly busy. I still have like 3 songs I have to write for like my school and like a presentation due and like a book review. There's like so many things. But yeah, have fun, folks. And I'll see you guys in the next one.